just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be seeing our second and arguably most famous rock formation here of the Wisconsin River. All right, now that is Hawks Peak, and it can be found if you follow this rocky shoreline straight up in front of us all the way to the left there. Where that shoreline then meets the water, look about 50 feet up from the water, and at the very tip-top left corner of that rock, you'll see the silhouette of a Hawks Peak there carved into the cliff. Now, Hawks Peak there is formed by 3 rock ledges, the top one pointing straight out that way, forming the Hawks Upper Peak. One below it curving up towards the top one, forming its lower peak, and right in between the smallest of the 3 ledges there sticking out, forming the Hawks Tongue. Now, Hawks Peak gained its fame back in 1962 when it was featured in Life magazine to accredit the Native American population here in the Wisconsin Dells, that, of course, being the Ho-Chunk tribe. Does everyone see Hawks Peak here, straight out the front of the boat? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you stretch your imaginations just a bit more here, you'll see that there is a slit on the Hawks Upper Peak, that top ledge, there forming the Hawks Tongue. You see him over there? Partying. You also notice that there is a big brown rock ledge jutting out right towards us into the water off to the right of its head there, forming its left wing and shoulder as it soars right across the Wisconsin River.
Yes, yeah.
This next thing I'm about to show you really isn't all that important to the tour, but I like to show it to you because I think it's kind of funny, all right? So off here to the left, you see this column of stairs there carved up into the hill, all right? Now, I only mention it because every once in a while I get a few passengers on my duck who ask me, hey, Nolan, where did those stairs go? And I don't really know, so I just look them right back in their eyes and I say, I don't know where those stairs go, but other than up, for the most part, they usually just sit there and stare. Got a question? Oh, the buoys are for, so when the lake changes levels, there's rock ledges below. So they keep those buoys there so we know where they're locked up. This is the speedboats here, they'll come cruising through. And depending on how fast they go, they can clear them, or because they displace a lot more water when they're, a lot less water when they're going faster. So they're just there for safety. No, it empties into the Mississippi. Yep. Now, as we were passing through the Wisconsin River here, you may have noticed these rocky cliffs off to either side of us. Now, these cliffs here are not made of any ordinary type of stone. In fact, they're made out of a very rare type of sandstone called Cambrian sandstone. Now, Cambrian sandstone gets its name because many thousands of years ago, a large body of water sat right atop the Wisconsin state. But once that sea drained away, it carved out the path that we are traveling down today, that being the Wisconsin River, leaving these Cambrian sandstone ledges off to either side of us. Now, Cambrian sandstone, as I said, is very rare, but it can be found elsewhere in the world, but it does go by a different name, and that is Potsdam sandstone. And these two rocks, the very same rock, can only be found in 4 locations over the globe, including Potsdam, Germany, where it gets its second name, Zurich, Switzerland, upstate New York, where it can only be found under the water, and right here on this beautiful 10-mile stretch of the Wisconsin River. Now, what makes Cambrian sandstone so unique is the fact that it is very porous and very brittle, which allows all these trees here to grow right out of its top with little to no topsoil. Now, if I were to place a little bit of Cambrian or Potsdam sandstone in the palm of your stand, you would have no trouble at all coming up right in the palm of your hand. Ordinarily, we don't see fish this big on the river here. Now, these are tubers, all right? They're known for two things, laying on their backs and drinking alcohol, okay? Not really. Little chunks of it will, but mostly above the dam it'll freeze. We're below the dam, so it's pretty quickly moving. So as we round this corner here, off to the left, off to the right hand side, you'll see a little change in scenery. You'll see a barren patch of land there. Now that patch of land there is barren due to a natural disaster that occurred right here in the Wisconsin Dells and Lake Delton area back in June of the year 2008. Now what happened was central Wisconsin received torrential amounts of rainfall, which then caused Lake Delton, the body water just over the hill there, to rise 51.5 inches. A lot more water than it was ever supposed to hold, and it then burst and allowed all 267 acres of Lake Delton to come rushing down here into the Wisconsin River. With it ripping out County Highway A, you see that car traveling on right up above, hundreds of trees, tons upon tons of topsoil, and let's not forget about the 5 waterfront homes that were also destroyed in that flood, 2 of which that ended up right down here in the Wisconsin River. Now if you look off the left-hand side of the boat, you'll see where that sandy beach meets the tree line up above it. That is just how high Lake Delton reached as they came rushing over the river here into the adjacent side back in 2008. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to give you a better idea of just how bad that flood was, I do have a few photographs of it that I'd like to show you later on in our tour. Gentlemen, if you were lucky enough to have taken my duck tour here in the Dells nearly 150 years ago today, you would have seen a thriving city off to either side of the river's edge here. Well, that city's name was Newport, and it was built off of a rumor that the Milwaukee DeBrusk Railroad Company was to come right through here and build a bridge for its train from this hill here over to that hill there. Now, the people of Newport wanted to make a little bang for their buck, bought up as much land as they could afford on either side of the river here, and then tried to sell it to a man named Byron Kilbourne, who at the time was the president of that railroad company. However, when Byron Kilbourne arrived here in that city of Newport, the land was much too expensive. So being the bright guy he was, he packed up all his materials and built his bridge 2 miles up the stream. Instead, they're founding the township of Kilbourne, named after himself, Byron Kilbourne. Well, the people of Newport very soon realized their poor investment in property, so they packed up their things from their homes here in Newport and left to go live in the new city of Kilbourne, leaving everything here in Newport a ghost town. And that was kind of seen as a blessing in disguise, as nearly 1 decade later, a wildfire would spread through this area and destroy every single home that there existed, leaving only one for us to see and drive past today, which we will be seeing in just a bit. That, of course, is Dawn Manor. Now, you just notice I pumped these levers up here off to the right-hand side. What that did was that reactivated our wheels and allowed them to spin again as we are about to make our first amphibious landing of the day as we crawl into Dell Creek. Now, Dell Creek is known for a few things in the Wisconsin Dells. One, it is the coldest portion of water in the Wisconsin Dells, as it is fed by a very cold water spring. Another thing is that it is very, very shallow, which can cause our 7.5-ton ducks here to become stuck in the CP sand right below with ease, all right? Now, if that does happen, there's absolutely nothing to worry about because we do have a protocol to follow here as duck drivers, all right? If we do become stuck in that CP sand right below, what's going to happen here is all the gentlemen here on board will make their way to the very back deck along with myself. And from there, we will then lower all of the women and children into the water to help push us to safety, all right? Now, what do we think of that plan, huh? Yeah. I'm just joking, guys. The water isn't that cold. You'll be fine. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're as big a fan of turtles as I am, off to our right-hand side here, you'll see a big old soft-shell turtle. Well, I'll be damned. Off to the left-hand side, there you'll see the W.J. Newman Dam. A dam built back in the year 1927 in order to hold back the rushing waters of Dell Creek, therefore forming beautiful Lake Delton over the way. Now, contrary to common belief, this dam here did not burst back in 2008. It in fact held back its water and did its job and pushed the water out just over the hill here, right after these log cabins right up ahead. Now, following that flood back in 2008, the city of Scottsdale's constructed an 80-foot wide spillway here off to the left, all right? To prevent any natural disasters like that from ever happening again. Now, the price tag on that dam, on the dam spillway, was $1.5 million. Off here to the left here would be another opportunity for you to take all the damn pictures you'd like, all right? Yeah, I had to use that one, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, here we sit at our entrance into Lake Delton, leaving you with just one question to ask all of you. Are we going in fast or slow? Fast! Slow. I'm going to show. Now, we're going to go in really, really fast, so I must warn you, how about a slight splash coming over the front here of the duck, maybe getting myself and my co-pilot wet. But you know what? That little splash that we may receive, I'm not quite sure, is definitely a lot smaller than that 5-foot tidal wave that's guaranteed to come over to the back, all right? All right, so if you have anything on the floor that you'd rather not become wet, I suggest you pick it up and put it in your laps, because if it washed up to the front here, I will be collecting it all so I can sell it on eBay, all right? Oh, doesn't want to get wet. Oh boy, here we go. Hold on tight, guys.
Oh God, really? Oh my God.
There she blows.
I know, let's do it again.
Anybody get wet on that splash down there? Just a few of us in the back? Yeah? Got you pretty good? Now, actually, there's nothing to worry about if you got wet here on the splashdown, because It's because we're sitting in what we call an artificial lake, a body of water formed by a dam. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but artificial lakes are filled with something called artificial water. Therefore, you're only artificially wet, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, as we sit out here on beautiful Lake Delton, there are a few things I'd like to point out for everyone to see, all right? So way over there in the leftmost portion of the lake, and that far away cove is where you may see two boxes, a red and white one sticking out of the water just a bit. Those there are the jumps at the Tommy Bartlett Ski Show, all right? To the right of that, you'll see this log cabin looking building there with some chimneys and a green roof. That is Wilderness on the Lake Resort. Straight out the front of the duck here, you will see none other than my mansion under construction. I'm joking, okay? I live in this duck. I can string a hammock from that pole to that pole, and it's a beautiful night's rest, okay? Okay, to the right-hand side of our duck, you will see a rocky shoreline bay there wrapping around the cove. Now, that is where Lake Delton breached into the Wisconsin River back in June of 2008. Now, imagine this, ladies and gentlemen, right atop the water there in the bay was a solid mass of land, and that is where those 5 waterfront homes once sat before they were all destroyed in that natural disaster. Oh, wow. We actually don't get to see that this often. If you look right atop the shoreline there, walking on that rocky shore, just waddling around there, mind their own business is absolutely nothing, okay? You know what I just did there? I got you all to look right up the rear end of my duck, okay? That's disgusting. Down to the left, and through that little patch of trees, you'll see that last remaining home of the lost city of Newport. That's right, that home right there is called Don Manor, and it was built back in the year 1855 by a man named Captain Abraham Vanderpool, a guy who was quite a celebrity here in the Wisconsin Dells area. 1, he was a Civil War hero. 2, a co-signer to the Wisconsin State Constitution. And 3, he was also a great friend to our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Abe Lincoln has even been rumored to have stayed inside the home there a couple nights. Now, if you look there a little bit closer at the walls of Don Manor, you'll notice that they're made out of a very rare type of sandstone called Cambrian sandstone, the same rock that we saw way down there in the Wisconsin River. Now, after Abraham Vanderpool passed away, the house was put up for sale and then exchanged between a number of different owners until it finally landed in the hands of a woman we know as Miss Helen Robb, the same lady that put those statues out on the first portion of our trail, and also the similar ones here in her front yard as well. Now, Miss Helen Robb was a world traveler and art collector, and in her 8 travels all the way around the world, she collected hundreds of pieces of expensive artwork, jewelry, and other collector's items to use on the inside of her home as decorations. At the time of her death, all those items inside the home valued at nearly $3 million. Now, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, for a couple of reasons, I can't take you inside Don Manor to see all that cool stuff. One being, the house is still on private property, which would make that trespassing. Number two, even if we could go up there and not get in trouble, it would be quite the tight squeeze fitting this beast Normandy through their front doors. But you know what? Later on in the tour, I do have the next best thing, and along with the pictures from the flood back in 2008, I'll actually be showing you the only available photographs of the inside of Don Manor. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you peek out the front end of the boat here, you'll see County Highway A, the same highway that was destroyed by that flood back in June of 2008. Now, a little known fact about the County Highway A here is that it was actually built by the Canadian Armed Forces back in 1854. Look at that big snapping turtle there on the side of the road. Now, that is Sheldon. From what I've heard, he gives fantastic kisses, okay? Well, anyways, County Highway A is rumored to have been built by the Canadian military. Now, a few Canadians walking on this dirt path on their way to visit Newport said, well, wouldn't this make a great place for a highway, eh? And thus it was built, County Highway A. Well, here we are entering into the Wisconsin Dells Scenic Park. A park here on our Dutch Trail that is home to many different species of wildlife, that including bears, horses, cows, sheep, chickens, duck, goats, geese, giraffes, zebras, lions, tigers, hippopotamuses, and many more. But you know what? You did hear me say bears. Now, if you do see any bears running through the woods here, please just tell me, all right? And I, as the best tour guide I can be, will do my best at swerving and running that bear over to death. And guys may be thinking, oh, no, that's quite cruel of you. Why would you do that? But I have my reasonings. It's because all of us here at the Ducks are some diehard Green Bay Packer fans. Go, Pack, go! What do you know? You guys see it? It looks like we do another sign of wildlife up there. Yeah? Another baby stop sign. Oh, they're so cute. They're everywhere nowadays. But you know what? I'm just joking. This stop sign here is a much better story than the last one, all right? Now, as a first-year driver, I was just cruising through the woods here, and instead of stopping, I decided I was just going to slow down instead and just roll right through it. Now, I discovered that was the worst mistake of my life because I soon realized that my boss was standing right behind that tree up there, all right? He had caught me in the act. I was in big trouble. When I got back to the docks, my boss grabbed me by the collar and dragged me into his Jeep and drove me under that stop sign. We promptly ripped that stop sign up and out of the dirt and began whacking me over the head with it. And I screamed, "Ow, stop, please, no!" And he said, "Nolan, do you want me to stop, or would you rather I just slow down instead?" This next portion of trail here requires a bit of passenger participation, all right? Now, I need everyone on board that is a roller coaster fan to say the words, "Oh, yeah!" All right, well, that's good to hear, because here we are approaching Roller Coaster Hill. Oh, yeah. Take that, Six Flags. You guys think that was fun? You want to do it again? Oh, boy. All right, well, we're going to do it again one more time, okay? Now, I lost my mirror doing this the other day, so if you could peek out the back corner so I could... All right, here we go. I like my job, guys. Well, here we have rolled up to last look point. A point here on our duck trail that is home to many different... Oh gosh, I'm getting caught up. It's been a long day. But last look point here gets its name for two reasons, all right? First off, it is the last fantastic look right down the longest stretch of the Wisconsin River we took on today, all right? Now, if you were to walk through this tree line here, you'd arrive at Hawks Peak, and way down there after the sandy shores of the beach is where we entered the river at Echo Point. Echo Point. Echo Point. Now, last look point also gets its name because right down there there's a 50-foot drop-off marking Suicide Hill, okay? So if this is as scary to you as it is to me, just go ahead and cover your eyes. Whew. Alright, well now, if we hadn't made it down Suicide Hill as safe as we did today, if you look off to the right, you will see a safety measure we have installed. That's right, a steel mesh barricade. Now you guys may be thinking, oh no, that's just some rusty red chicken wire. What are you talking about? Well, let me inform you here. Hank at the hardware store assured me just yesterday that if that chicken wire there can hold back a chicken, it shouldn't have any trouble holding back a duck as well. Now off to the left here, you'll see Lake Manel's body water built and used today for one reason only. That's right, this body water right here is used to breed the Wisconsin state bird. Quite a beautiful, majestic species. And if you didn't know, is the mosquito. Yes. Yes. There's another snapping turtle right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's so many of them. They're just trying out here to get kisses. Oh, here we are rolling down onto Lowland Trail, a portion of trail here in the Ducks that is, of course, the oldest portion of our trails. And that is because in the late 1700s and early 1800s, this trail here was used by the fur traders along the banks of the Wisconsin River as they traveled north to sell their pelts. Now, since then, of course, it has been renovated for our likings here as a duck trail. Now, this place here holds a special place in my heart, as I do believe it may be the second most beautiful portion of the trail today, all right? Now, there's another turtle there. Wow, there's so many turtles. I love turtles. But, you know, this is probably the second most beautiful portion of your trail today, following closely right behind me, your handsome duck driver. But, you guys are flattered, aren't you? But, I'll let the nature here do the talking. Ladies and gentlemen, you may recall from earlier on in the tour, I mentioned our duck here, Normandy, measures out to be 8 feet 2 inches wide. And that little factoid is important now because we are approaching the most narrow portion of our trails today. Redbird Gorge, a gorge measuring in at its most narrow portion to be 8 feet 6 inches wide. Now that makes it quite the tight squeeze. I am only provided 4 inches to work with as we squeeze on through. So as we shimmy on through Redbird Gorge here, you may see some white and green paint lining the walls here. Now listen, all I ask is that you don't tell my boss. I don't think it's that much to ask, okay? Now this is as nerve-wracking to you as it is for me. Just wait till we cross that bridge right up ahead, alright? Now there's nothing to worry about. I've crossed that bridge many times before, of course with floorboards though. But all of us duck drivers have plenty of practice crossing it, alright? You know, every new duck driver here begins their job with a mouthful of marbles. And every time they cross that there bridge, they have to spit one off the other side. And we can tell they are full-fledged duck drivers, of course, when they've lost all their marbles. Here we are, about to enter into Blackhawk Gorge. Now, Blackhawk Gorge is named after a very famous Native American chief, all right? I'm sure you guys have already guessed. Blackhawk Gorge is named after a guy named Chief Gorge. Chief Gorge, as I said, was quite the popular guy in the Wisconsin Dells, but he wasn't as popular as his own family. That's right. Now, Chief Gorge had a son. I think you guys might know him. His name was Boy Gorge. Now, Boy Gorge, just like anybody else's age, had a pet monkey whose name was Curious Gorge.
Curious Gorge.
And that Gorge family all lived in Atlanta, Georgia, before moving to the beautiful state of Wisconsin. And you know, wait, now that I think about it, Chief Gorge had a daughter. Gosh, it must be too many tours today, but what I can tell you guys is his daughter was just drop dead gorgeous. That's a knee slapper. Throughout the trails here at the Ducks, ladies and gentlemen, I think you may have seen plenty of different species of tree off to either side. But to this next portion of what's coming up right ahead, there are two types of tree I'm positive you haven't seen anywhere else in your lifetimes. That's right. And right here, on our right side, this brown tree that splits in two and heads up towards the sky, that there is called the dogwood tree. And the dogwood tree has a very rough bark. Off to the left here, my personal favorite, this one right here, the tree with three distinct crooked branches. That there's the government tree. Yeah. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I know my tree jokes really aren't that good. You know, just yesterday, my boss pulled me aside and he said, "Hey, Nolan, got some bad news for you." And I said, "What is it, sir?" And he's like, "I've heard your tree jokes are becoming a pine and your customers aspen." And I said, well, sir, I'm sorry. You know, I'm paying all this money to go get my PH tree. Look at me, still employed. It worked. Now here we are pulling into the Miss Helen Robb Tree Plantation. Miss Helen Robb, other than being a world traveler and art collector, was additionally a nature activist. Now that wildfire that spread through that city of Newport and destroyed all the homes did not have any mercy on the cities as well. There's a white-tailed deer there off to the right in the woods. You all see it?
Oh,
now that there is Sally,
here.
okay?
Where is it?
Now Sally is a nice gal, but Sally has an addiction problem. All right? Sally cannot live a day of her life without caffeine, all right? If she doesn't get her cup of coffee, she'll doze off throughout the day. She's also a paid employee here, all right? Now, her benefits include a couple bucks every day.
Got 34. I got also.
There's three things that could have went wrong right there, right? One, we ran out of diesel. Two, we ran out of gas. And three, we ran out of mixture of both I put in this morning. So, oh boy. I'm just joking. No, we got plenty of fuel left to go. I just have those pictures I'd like to show you of the flood back in 2008 and also the inside of Dawn Manor. So if you open these books here, right up to the middle, they're cleverly named Old Trails and DuckTales. You will find that there are a few pictures of the flood back in 2008 and also the pictures of the inside of Dawn Manor. You'll also find that there's all sorts of really interesting information about the Wisconsin Dells area. Now this book here is actually how us duck drivers teach ourselves how to give the tour. So it teaches us all the information and makes it a lot of fun to learn too. Now you'll also find that there are 2 pages of 2 pages of coupons there to rip out
Can I get one?
to the Wisconsin Dells area.
No, wait. That's one is
Those coupons there, unfortunately, do have expiration dates on them, but don't worry at all, guys, because those coupons there will only expire when you guys expire. I'll grab you too. Just a second. I guess you could say the coupons are here for a good time, but not a long time. So. They're here for a long time, not a good time. But inside those books, you'll also find there is an envelope.
No, we're at the same one.
Okay, there's also an envelope. And just like that, we're on our way right back down to the duck box where we got started. But first, off to the right-hand side here, you'll see some silver sheds and some green barns. Those there, we are to store our ducks in the winter, and of course, we'll be partying hard all summer long. Just about that, you'll see a big old tan barn there, that being where our 7-year-old duck doctors are employed, with their jobs to keep our ducks here in tip-top shape for your enjoyment and, of course, your safety here at the original Wisconsin Ducks. However, not every duck that waddles on into the office can be saved. So out here to the left, we do have our duck graveyard. Let them rust in pieces. Para las hablantes de español que se descansen en pedazos. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure to have you out here on the duck tour. All right. As we pull into the docks, I would like to tell you that you all, out of all the tours I've taken today, have been the most recent one. Okay. So as we pull in, I just ask that you remain seated, and until I make my back, I'll help you out. Once I know it's safe, thanks again, and have a great rest of your day, and stay here in the beautiful Wisconsin Dells.